This is Plant-Based Briefing, Muscle, Testosterone, and a Plant-Based Diet by Theresa Sam Houghton at the Colin Campbell Center for Nutrition Studies at nutritionstudies.org. And I'm your host, Marian Erickson, and this is the curated content plant-based podcast where I narrate a variety of articles on plant-based and vegan living with permission in about 10 minutes or less every weekday. I'm a voiceover artist by profession. You can find me at plantpoweredvo.com. I do this podcast as my service to help get the plant-based and vegan message out there. I just love researching all this stuff, and there's so much amazing content that I'm happy to be able to share it with people in this format. If you are interested in helping support the podcast, the best way to do it is just share it with people. Share certain episodes, share it on your social media, just help spread the word so other people can listen. You can support it financially by shopping for plant-based and vegan apparel and merchandise at plantbasedbriefing.com/shop. And another way to help the podcast grow is to simply leave a 5-star rating on Apple, Spotify, or Amazon. And leaving reviews also helps because it helps people who come across it decide if they want to listen. I was so excited to see a review this past week that I received and would like to share. It's from Cabney56 from the United States, and it says, "Wonderful resource. I love this podcast, which is a concise clearinghouse, if you will, of all things plant-based eating. She combs the latest and best information out there and puts it in bite-sized pieces to help us on our journey to health, both in our own lives and for the planet." So thank you so much for that review. I really appreciate it. And if you want to rate or review the podcast and aren't sure how to do it, if you go to plantbasedbriefing.com, you'll see a button at the top of the page that says Rate and Review the Podcast Here. And that will take you to a screen that lists all of the places that you can leave a rating or review based on the device you're on. So I'd really appreciate 5-star ratings, and if you leave a review, I'm happy to give you a shout out. Thank you so much. And for today's episode, it's from the Colin Campbell Center for Nutrition Studies. They're a nonprofit whose mission is to promote optimal nutrition through science-based education, advocacy, and research. It was established to extend the impact of Dr. Campbell's life-changing research findings. He's the co-author of the best-selling book, The China Study, and he's in almost all of the major plant-based documentaries as well. So now let's get to today's plant-based briefing. Muscle, Testosterone, and a Plant-Based Diet by Theresa Sam Houghton at nutritionstudies.org. Testosterone regulates several functions in the body, including muscle growth, bone mass, fat distribution, and red blood cell production. It's also instrumental in anabolism, the metabolic process in which complex molecules are built from simpler ones, including muscle fibers from proteins in the food you eat. Testosterone levels are therefore very important for maintaining or increasing muscle mass. Individuals focused on exercise performance and results can achieve optimal testosterone levels by eating well. But what exactly does that look like? Whether plant-based diets affect testosterone levels and muscle growth is a matter of ongoing debate. How does testosterone build muscle? To build muscle, testosterone interacts with androgen receptors on cell surfaces and regulates gene expression. The body responds by using amino acids from food to make proteins, increasing growth hormone levels, reducing protein breakdown, and resisting fat storage. It's the perfect combination for a muscular physique as long as enough testosterone is available. Conventional gym wisdom suggests that eating a lot of animal protein is the best way to ensure optimal testosterone for muscle building, but plant-based foods can be just as powerful. Can a plant-based diet affect testosterone? Studies on how diet affects testosterone show that, although vegan men tend to have more of a testosterone-regulating compound called sex hormone-binding globulin, SHBG, there are no significant differences in testosterone levels between omnivores and those on plant-based diets. High-protein, low-carb diets are a different story. They appear to increase cortisol levels and decrease testosterone. Switching to a plant-based diet can reverse this pattern and give testosterone levels a boost. Optimizing testosterone on a plant-based diet. But not all plant-based diets are created equal. Subsisting on plant-based meat analogs and vegan snacks isn't the answer for healthy testosterone levels. A diet high in ultra-processed foods can actually reduce testosterone, as can excessive exposure to BPA, a preservative present in many can linings and plastic packaging. Whole and minimally processed plant foods, by contrast, are low in junk and high in nutrients. Some foods offer particular benefits that support testosterone. Nuts, seeds, and avocados have omega-3 and other unsaturated fats. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cabbage can control estrogen levels, and bananas contain B vitamins. Supplementing with vitamin D and vitamin B12 is also recommended to prevent deficiencies. Can you still build muscle on a plant-based diet? One common concern about plant-based diets is that, despite being nutrient-dense, they don't provide enough protein to build muscle. But studies show that plant-based sources of protein support muscle growth just as well as animal foods. Eating a plant-based diet may also increase your VO2 max, the amount of oxygen your body can use when exercising. A higher VO2 max can improve performance during long or vigorous sessions. And because plant-based foods are anti-inflammatory, you may not need as much time to recover before your next workout. Tips for building muscle with plant-based foods. For best muscle-building results on a plant-based diet, balance is important, including eating enough protein. Strength training regimens require between 0.8 and 1.9 grams of protein per kilogram, about 0.36 to 0.86 grams per pound per day. That's around 54 to 129 grams for a 150-pound person. Unless you're an elite athlete or undergoing intense training, research shows no additional benefit from eating more. Going beyond what you need may cause health problems, including decreased testosterone. The safe upper limit for protein appears to be 2 grams per kilogram or 0.9 grams per pound per day. You should have no problem meeting your requirements if you include a source of plant-based protein like beans, lentils, tofu, or tempeh at each meal, eat nutrient-dense snacks like nut butter toast, chia pudding, or fruits and nuts, and eat enough calories to support your exercise regimen. Tracking your macronutrients with an app like Chronometer can help you visualize how much protein you eat and adjust as needed. With healthy testosterone levels supported by a plant-based diet, your body can use these proteins and the nutrients from other foods you eat to build and maintain strong muscles. You just listened to Muscle, Testosterone, and a Plant-Based Diet by Theresa Houghton at nutritionstudies.org. And I'm your host, Marian Erickson, and I've done a number of other episodes on protein, including some that talk about the harms of animal protein and the benefits of plant-based protein. So wherever you listen to this podcast, just do a search for protein and those episodes will pop up. I'll link some of them in the show notes as well. I'll also put a link to the documentary The Game Changers. It focuses on plant-based athletes and how a plant-based diet not only supports physical fitness but is better for you. It talks a lot about protein, testosterone, erectile dysfunction, athletic performance and recovery, things that are positively impacted and improved with a plant-based diet. So check that out if you haven't seen it. It's excellent. And please share this episode with anyone who might benefit, and thanks for listening.